This is about. I should erase this stuff. 1 second, I'm gonna erase this. I got liquor. It's 70% liquor. It's 140. It's pretty good. Yeah, I'm the modern day teachers. Yeah. Insane. You're gonna have to clean this off better eventually. This marks out pretty. I didn't even have to use alcohol. Shit. Okay. What is today about? Today is about I left my camera. I do not like this camera. Is it out here? God damn, that was cool. I gotta fix that somewhere. Oh, whatever. How do I fix it? I gotta put something behind it, probably. Whatever. Okay, so 2 times in a row, I have not had my GoPro on. It's in my room. It's actually over here. Here it is. I do not know what's going on with you, buddy. Why are you doing that to me, GoPro? Mr. GoPro, why are you doing that to me? Look at that GoPro. It's got Gorilla Glue on it. Do you think if I would have if I did that better, would it have? If I'd done that better, would it have? Because I didn't center it correctly. So this is glued on top. Whatever. So 2 times, not 2 times in a row, 2 times in a week, I've not turned on the GoPro. I could have swore I turned it on when I started. Bad boy. What else? You want to put a shirt on? Put your shirt on. I need to wear a tank top. Blue moon shirt. Alright, blue moon shirt. Yeah. I'm cool now. This is heavy. This is like too hot. So, the joke was, I lost an hour and a half of ranting, and I was trying to think of what I talked about. Daemons, it was probably about daemons and demons, and the muses. The muses are very important. You gotta know about the muses, the daemons, the demons. I talked about Lindsey Graham got poisoned. He might have gotten poisoned. That was a theory. I guessed that immediately. I just make shit up now. I just make stuff up. I'm like, did he get poisoned? I don't have any evidence. I'm just like, it's a cool idea. It sounds cool. You know, like, what if Russia poisoned him? What if Ukraine poisoned him? That'd be fucking cool, too. You know, you gotta ask yourself, what makes the story more interesting? Because this is a boring story. We all know how boring it all is. So secretly, you gotta make it interesting. You gotta go, did he get poisoned? Did Lindsey Graham get poisoned? Did Putin do it? Did Zelensky do it? What else? Who's this fame on me? Oh, they're not going to do the 20% thing. I didn't look it up. Yet. I was like, I had this whole rant about how Trump is going to make a fund, and you know how like in the biggest deal, if you're a president of the United States, the most important thing that has happened to a president in the past 50 years is what happened to Jimmy Carter. The price of gas went up threefold, and you know. The Americans, you know, they act like they have values and shit. They don't give a fuck. They're like, hey, the price of gas went up threefold. They say, get the fuck out, Jimmy Carter. Get the fuck out, you fucking retard. And, you know, anyone who's, like, smart and wants to be president is like, oh, the American people just want cheap shit and they want cheap gas. So, like, you got to keep that in mind if you're going to be the president of the U.S. Because, you know, the American people are very, 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 they don't like spending money on stuff and they don't have to. They can't even pay their fucking national debt. I mean, holy fucking shit, they ain't going to pay more for gas. So, you know, you got to keep that in mind. And so my idea was, you know, anytime the United States tries to make gas or oil, the OPEC would be like, oh, we see you upstart, you know, Texas or California. They drown the market. They flood the market. And Trump was always like, China floods the market and ruins American steel, and they ruin American aluminum, and blah blah blah. So I was like, Trump's gonna be like, he's gonna make a fund, and he's gonna take that 20%, he's gonna put it in a fund, and he's gonna like soft, boost up American oil. He'll protect the American oil markets. In the internal U.S. oil market. And then the other thing is he could just be a mobster. I don't know. He could be a mobster, or maybe he wants to make a fund. But I read that they're not doing the 25%, 20% tariff. So I didn't look into it yet. So I gotta look into that. And then, because I was like, the whole beginning of that bike ride was like, that fucking Chad, he's gonna put 20%. What a Chad! He's a Chad. He's Chad McChadster. You know, because whatever, you know. He could be Chad McChadster. It's the new Monroe Doctrine. It's the new. We tax shit now. Because after World War II, France and Britain were like, the Suez Canal. We're still big shots. And France and Britain are jokes now. Everyone knows France and Britain are jokes. They're just big old, ha, there's France, there's Britain, you're jokes. And they can't do shit now because they're a joke after World War II. And, you know, is the United States going to be able to afford can the United States be like, hey, we're going to go to the Strait of Hormuz and we're going to tax the shit out of the Middle East, because the Middle East, they dump all their oil through the Strait of Hormuz. You know, I don't like Saudi Arabia. Did you know 15 of the 19 hijackers came from Saudi Arabia? I don't like Saudi Arabia. If I could tax Saudi Arabia, remember Khashoggi? I don't like that story either. We could be like, Khashoggi, hey, let's all pretend, yeah, you're going to pay 20% tax, you fucking asshole, and you're going to pay 20% tax because 15 of the 19 hijackers came from fucking Saudi Arabia, you fucking assholes. You're going to pay for it, motherfuckers. You know, Trump had some balls. He might do that. I don't know if he has balls. I think he's a pussy. I don't think he'll do it. But whatever. You know. I'm going to goad Trump into doing stuff just for my own amusement. That's my plan. You should try it. That's my new thing is, it's like you go, you just do that to Trump, he'll do anything. He'll see red. Whatever. If he did that, that'd be pretty hot. Because I don't like the Middle East. I don't like those Middle Easterners. I don't like Saudi Arabia. I don't like the UAE. I don't like any of them countries. I wish they. I think $99 out of every $100 should go to me, or the United States. I don't care. One of the two. They should get $1 out of every $100 worth of oil. They shouldn't be getting no $80 out of a. You know, I think $20 is a little too low, Mr. Trump. I say 99 out of 100. But whatever. You're not gonna get that, though. So I should probably look up what he proposed now. It's a form of like, mercantilism, or it's a form of like return of mercantilism. It's a return of state power. I mean, he might. I don't know. Like, I don't know where this shit's going. I can't tell you where this shit's going. I just sit back and I laugh and I go, hey, maybe. Because sometimes I think he's a mobster, and sometimes I think he's like kind of smart, and then sometimes I wonder, hey, some mobsters are smart. I don't know. It's a little weird. It's very creepy. Because it's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to root for. Because I don't like the Middle Easterners either. So they're not very good guys either. That guy who killed Khashoggi, he's an asshole. So like, why should I root for him? What else? Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine is doing even more attacks, but Russia's still taking land. I don't entirely get that part. That's a little beyond my. Russia might have to mobilize. They're going to call it a war. They weren't calling it a war. They're like, it's something else, but they might call it a war. So it's like, even though they lost like 500,000 people, they're going to call it a war finally. This world is pretty fun. It's all words. Did you know that there's a huge difference between something being like a... poor Putin. I don't know what's going to happen to Putin. Is Putin going to be able to... Did he go too far? Are the people in Russia going to be like, fuck this shit. We didn't sign up for a war. We were okay with like 500,000 people dying as long as you didn't call it a war. So he's going to call it a war eventually. Whatever. Any other ideas? I cannot believe I did not turn that GoPro on. Something that's creeping me out. I got to get like an app for my phone, and then it'll wirelessly talk to my phone. And I'll be like, are you on? And I'll push the button, and it'll be like, are you on? And then it won't be on. It'll be on. GoPro. There's no trains last night. I was really disappointed. No trains in Muscle Shoals. Fuck you, Muscle Shoals. I wanted to see a fucking train, you fucking assholes. That's not that funny. Oh, my other joke. I think I already did this one. They're gonna cut up Europe. China, Russia, and the United States are gonna cut up Europe into. They're gonna turn it into a century of humiliation, but for Europe, because Europe is a bitch, and they're gonna get cut up into pieces the way China got cut up into pieces in the 1900s, and then everyone's gonna get a bunch of money and free shit because like cutting stuff up is fun. You know, it's like cutting up a piece of pie. You stick your finger in the pie. That's fun. What else? Oh, I don't know. Lindsey Graham might have been poisoned. They got the FBI there. They're like, I guess that, but I just guessed that because I was like, it's a little too, you know. But I don't want to start rumors, but, you know, I don't know. I've never even met the guy. I don't even know anything about it. I just know the guy back from Ukraine. I was like, he got poisoned, definitely. Yeah, or his heart broke. His heart, and then it flooded blood, and he died, like, really fast. He's been around a long time. It's actually kind of, whatever. He was pro Ukraine. Remember when the Republican Party was like, we kind of support Putin, and then Putin went and talked to Tucker Carlson, and then Putin was like, for a full fucking hour, all he talked about was like 1600s history, and all Putin had to do, Putin, all you had to do was like spout some Mearsheimer lines about how after the Cold War was over, the Warsaw Pact was supposed to be like Russia's sphere of influence, but then NATO said, hey, we're going to take all of the Warsaw Pact, and then Russia, you know, it's like Cuba, you didn't want Cuba having nukes. JFK didn't want Cuba having nukes. So that's all he had to do. He had to just say, hey, I just don't want you guys on my border. I don't want you like 5 feet from me. That's all he had to do. But then he started talking about bullshit from 1600s. He fucking shit the bed. Putin shit the bed so fucking hard. He could have easily, the Republican Party was going to be like, hey, we'll let you on our side. We'll support you. But he was so fucking retarded, he didn't know. Hey, all you have to do is repeat some Mearsheimer lines about how you just want like some spheres of influence in some border states. But he talked about the 1600s like a fucking retard. They sent Tucker, that was a fucking softball, dude. Take the softball, man. Whatever. Any other jokes? Yeah, because Putin and Trump secretly likes Putin. And there's reasons to like Putin. I'm going to be very blunt with you. There are reasons to like Putin. The 10 years from 1991 to 2000 were a shithole in Russia. And he was like a tough guy. And look, that's not his fault. The 10 years were, they had a drunk guy in charge. They had Yeltsin. He was going around, he was literally like drunk all the time. He was like literally drunk. And he sold all the companies for like pennies on the dollar. Oh man, it was a shithole in Russia in the 90s. So like Putin is not, like, he's not a good guy, but he's like a bad guy, tough guy. For a country that needed a bad guy, tough guy probably. At the time. I don't know what's gonna happen now. So if you wanna like Putin, you can kinda like him. It's not impossible to dislike him. What else? Any other jokes? You know any more jokes? I know a lot of jokes. I know lots of jokes. Give me a joke. 30,000 Russians injured or killed. That's cool. They're gonna fuck that shit up. Russia's always had manpower. 190 million. They started off with 190 million in World War II. I thought it was like 120, but it was like 190. They lost like 30 million. They know how to take the manpower losses. Those Russians, they can take manpower losses. So you gotta be careful. What else? That's including all that. That's the Soviet Union. That's not Russia. Whatever. Same thing. What else? There's some guy out there. He's looking at the guy walking around. He's watering something. Hey. I wonder if is there anyone who does like terrible political commentary with like an extremely stupid voice? That should be a niche. I know there's Peter Zeihan, but he's too technical. He's too smart. There needs to be like a more anarchistic Peter Zeihan. An anarchistic Peter Zeihan. Oh, that'd be funny. What do you do? You're throwing grass. This guy's throwing grass. He's weeding. I think he's weeding. Uh-huh. Huh. Any other jokes? The AIs are getting smarter. They're getting a lot smarter. I think they might put people in groups. They're gonna figure out there's a lot of stupid people, and they're just like, we're not even gonna give them the AI. They're gonna give them they're gonna tier the AI off. The AI is gonna be tiered off. There's gonna be two versions of it. They're gonna be like, you're an idiot. I'm not gonna waste resources answering your question. And we'll just give them they're gonna do that, and then the people will complain. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna be red tape. It's gonna be, you're an idiot. I'm not gonna waste my time. The robot's not gonna waste time trying to figure out something for you if you're asking stupid questions. I don't know. It's gonna discriminate. I'm pretty sure it's gonna discriminate. And then there's pay for play. There's some pay for play in there too. What else? They're buying hard drives? Hard drives have gone up like 30%. I didn't know that. Because I need a new hard drive eventually. I'm going to need a hard drive in like a month or two. Because of AI. AI is going to take all the jobs. And they're storing all the information. And they need the videos. Because at first they just they put the Gutenberg press in there, and now they're putting all the videos in there. And eventually it's just going to be the sensor. The human body has eyes, ears, touch, smell. They're not going to put smell in it. They could put smell in there. I'm getting hot. I got to turn this off. They'll put smell in there eventually. But they're going to put all the cameras in there. You know, like China. China has that system. They'll do that eventually. And then it's conscious. It's as conscious as I am. I'm not really that conscious. I'm more of an NPC. I know I'm an NPC, but like eventually the robot will start asking itself, "Am I an NPC?" I don't know, maybe. Probably is. To be fair, aren't most people NPCs? Probably. Most people are NPCs. Statistically, what percentage of human beings of the 200 billion people that have been alive, you can probably name 100, 1,000 of them. George Washington, whatever. Stalin, Lenin, Hitler, Newton. Is it Newton? There's only so many people who are actually not NPCs. Most people are NPCs. That concludes. I wonder what he did. He said something, some sort of golf path. I didn't read it. I read that now. Is he a mobster, or is he gonna create a fund? You can't just keep defunding the Texans and the Californians. Whatever. Autarky. It's a German word for self-reliance. Make your own oil. Make your own shit. I'm tired of. I don't like Saudi Arabians. I don't like UAE. They all uppity. They think, fuck you, Saudi Arabia. Fuck you, UAE. Fuck you, Middle East. It's my Peter Zion here. I'm not Peter Zion. I'd have to get a lot more resources to be Peter Zion. I have to get my jizz back up. To get jizz. What else? Oh man. I emptied this place. I put a weight bench out here. I put a weight bench out here? Maybe. Very high. Well, that concludes this.